flyer and stay within their base territory. You will find them wherever there are fields of food crops, some in the low hills, others at higher levels amidst the blue pines. The peacock, too, is a species of pheasant, but then the peacock is emperor of birds and the bird of emperors. From tip to tail, the plumage of the male extends to 2¼ meters, which he attains by the age of about 2 years. He lives as a family with a number of peahens, and he likes to roost on tall trees. His shimmering dance is meant to overwhelm the more prosaic and plain-colored female, and down the ages has inspired poetry and legend. Pakistan is a land of flowers, of nectar and pollen. It is a land of many colors, of sunshine and rain, a land of gardens. It is a land of forests, a friendly environment for a variety of creatures, for which the life-giving force is the tree. The tree belongs to the birds. In the hills, however, other creatures compete for tree space. The black-faced langur is a large-sized monkey, lithe and lean, with a deep chest and long legs, so that when he's down on the ground, he looks very like a greyhound. The langur lives in tribes, which are led by the male, and they migrate over considerable territory in their day-to-day foraging. Far less shy, indeed precocious, is the common or garden rhesus monkey. There's an authentic tale of one such monkey rushing up to a 12-year-old boy who had been pelting his tribe with stones and biting his finger. Fair's fair. And so on to northernmost Pakistan and the Khunjerab Pass, sitting atop the great Karakoram Highway, the ancient silk route into Xinjiang in China. The pass is at 5,000 meters with high peaks all around, and you'd think that there'd be little life in these bleak, snow-bound environs, and you'd be wrong. A shaggy, ill-tempered relative of the buffalo is the yak. However, it can be domesticated, and at these high altitudes, it is an all-purpose friend to man. The yak is an all-in-one source of wool, milk, transport, and dung for fuel and fertilizer. Up in the high Karakorams and the western Himalayas, a creature inspiring the utmost respect is the black bear. At his most magnificent in the autumn, a male has weighed in at 173 kilograms. His cousin, the red or brown bear, is of still more formidable proportions. He roams the alpine meadows and subalpine scrub zones above the tree line, though he does condescend to come down into ravines of juniper and birch. The brown bear eats long and ostentatiously, for almost 2 hours before sunrise, and again for several hours in the late afternoon and evening, he eats. His sense of smell is keen, and his eyesight. And for 6 months from late October, he hibernates. As snow envelops the valleys and mountainsides, both brown and black bears bed down comfortably in a lair under a large boulder or in a natural cave. Cubs are born sometime in January and stay with the mother in hibernation till she emerges into the world in late April. The myriad streams and brooks that tumble down the lush alpine mountainsides are flush with trout. In early summer, the streams are so clear that you can actually see the greedy fish dallying with the bait. A handsome species of wild goat is the markhor of the northern mountains. A healthy male can weigh 80 kilograms, and his horns snake out to a length of 114 centimeters. Typically, the markhor is found on the steppe mountainside and in regions of meager rainfall. But he's an adaptable fellow and roams from the lower hills, hot and treeless, up to juniper and birch forests at 3,500 meters. The markhors are gregarious and move about in small herds consisting of the females and young males. The mountain ibex is a more thick-set animal and dwells on the high precipitous slopes well above the tree line at heights of 7,000 meters. Mature males tend to stay apart from the herd, preferring each other's company, a man's man, so to speak. The massive, spiraling horns of an aged Marco Polo sheep can span a man's outstretched arms. These magnificent animals have exceptionally keen eyesight and sense of smell, and are therefore very difficult to approach. They graze on the high plateaus where the winds are severely cold and the landscape is arid. Every year, in the autumn, these high mountain passes in the Karakorums and the Hindu Kush become the welcoming gateway for millions of migratory waterfowl flying south from the Siberian winters of the northernmost latitudes. Their advent is heralded in late August by the arrival of flocks of teal, a species of wild duck. They follow the route of the river Indus southwards, and this migratory pattern is so regular that wildlife buffs the world over speak of this route as the Indus Flyway. And the birds come in flocks, as many as 1,000 together. Along the flyway, they encounter lakes and marshes strategically spaced, all the way down from the high northern mountains to the southern plains of Sindh. Here, after a staggered flight of many weeks, they come to rest in segregated flocks of ducks, flamingos, cranes, pelicans, and a dozen more species, to rest on the comparatively mild winter waters and to build up strength for the long return journey home 6 months hence. During these winter months, these great lakes are a carnival of waterfowls. Out there are waders and divers and swimmers. There are birds fishing and birds bathing, and others just preening themselves. As many colonies as there are species. Pelicans are the most ingenious of fisher folk. They take to the shallow waters in rows, flap their wings, disturb the fish, and snap them up. Very neat. A pelican carries more fish in its pouch than in its stomach. Some of the loveliest to observe are the many kinds of wild duck. Mallards, poachards, pintails, spotbills, tufted ducks, widgeons, and of course the teals, which were the most impatient to get here and start the great migration off each year. The shovelers are local residents. They'd all live happily ever after, if only. The sad fact is that many of the finest species of animals and birds are on their way to extinction. We're killing them faster than they can breed. Soon these trophies will be all that's left. Can you imagine a forest without trees, a garden with no flowers, an ocean with not an island on it, a desert with no oasis? Listen to the words of the chief of an Indian tribe in North America 130 years ago. What is man without the beasts? If all the beasts were gone, men would die from great loneliness of spirit. For whatever happens to the beasts also happens to man. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons of the earth.